What's going on, party people? It's your friendly neighborhood youth pastor, and this is part 2 of a 2-part video with the title, Heroes Are Heroic in Ordinary Moments. You ready? Here we go. So just like in our last video, how the Samaritan saw a need and made it right, Jesus' own ministry is filled with times where he saw things that were wrong and made them right. In John chapter 5, there's a story of a man who was paralyzed from birth. Jesus saw him, he loved him, and he righted that wrong by healing him. In Matthew chapter 4:18, we see Jesus meeting 2 of the disciples. He introduced them to the good news and a life of purpose by following him. In Matthew 9:36, Jesus sees a crowd who needs hope and healing. He teaches them, he heals them, and then he encourages his disciples to do the same. Jesus is the hero of every story, but Jesus is also calling us to join this mission that he's already in, and he's calling us to be heroic along with him. And heroes are known for righting wrongs, but sometimes the hardest thing to do is to right the wrongs that you've caused. Obviously, everybody wants to be a hero in a situation where we get all the glory, where we get noticed, where we get none of the blame. Everybody wants to be a hero in the flashy situations, where you get lots of likes on social media and stuff like that. But real heroes know that the most heroic things happen when you right a wrong, no matter how small it is. And sometimes these things are so small that only you and God see it. But that doesn't matter. When you take responsibility to right a wrong that you've done, no matter how small, that's heroic. Real heroes know that small acts of heroism often require the most strength and courage and compassion. And they know that, being heroic isn't about the most big and dramatic things that get all the attention. Real heroes are heroic in ordinary moments. That's our main point for today. Real heroes are heroic in ordinary moments. So who do you need to be heroic to? Well, for starters, it could be the person who you can't stand. Or it could be the person that can't stand you. It could be the person that you're fighting with right now. Right now. It could be a person that you haven't talked to in a while because they're still hurt and angry about something you did or something you said. Check out this image of a fence. Fences, they keep people out, but they also keep you in. When you build a fence, sometimes it could be offensive. You get it? Because I said you build a fence, and then I also said offensive, like an offense is offensive. It's pretty funny, right? You get it, right? But when we fight with people, it's easy to build up these fences between us and people. We have these fences of bitterness or anger or silence or guilt or fear or revenge. The more time passes, the bigger the fence gets. And the bigger the fence gets, the harder it gets to see each other. And if you can't see each other because of your distance, your anger, and your bitterness, it's going to be so hard to see how to make things right. So what about you? Are there any fences in your life? Is there a wrong that you need to make right with someone? Do you need to be a hero and climb the fence first or break down the fence that's separating you from someone that you've hurt or has hurt you? So how do you make up with someone who feels hurt and angry? Or how do you make up with someone who's hurt you or who you are angry towards? I'm going to give you 2 steps. And I want you to be heroic because heroes go first, right? They see the need or they know about something and they make it right. That's what a hero is. So I want you to admit, these are your 2 steps. I want you to admit what you've done wrong and I want you to apologize, okay? So when you do that, you don't make it all about you. You don't defend yourself and you don't tell them not to be hurt or angry. If they've hurt you, obviously you can share that, but don't use that as an excuse not to apologize or not to own up to the part that you've played. This week, let's do something heroic. Let's try to reconcile with someone that we've hurt, and let's try to make a wrong right. It could go something like this. Hey friend, or my brother, or your sister, I'm really sorry for the way that I treated you this week or last week. I know that I said some things to hurt you, and I just want to say that I was wrong and I apologize. Or it could be like, hey, mom or dad, I'm really sorry for the disrespectful things I said to you last week. I know they hurt. I'm really going to try and be less hurtful with the things I say. Can you please forgive me? And listen, apologies don't guarantee healing or reconciliation. Sometimes, even though you've apologized and you're genuine, it still might be rejected. But that doesn't get you off the hook from doing your part, from doing your best to be heroic and trying to make a wrong situation right. And obviously, it's not easy to be that first person to make that first step. But that's why it's so heroic, and that's what we're challenging you to do. Heroes are heroic in ordinary moments. This is our last video in this series called Origin Stories about justice. So in the last few videos in this series, we talked about how heroes embrace who God made them to be. We talked about how heroes care for the people in front of them. We talked about how heroes are stronger when they're on a team. And we talked about how heroes are heroic in ordinary moments. Heroes right wrongs. Heroes fight for justice. That's what Jesus came to do, and that's what Jesus calls us to join him in doing. You're not only capable of being a hero, you're called to be one by God. So will you? How are you going to join Jesus in his mission to save the world? Could this be an epic moment in your faith? Years from now, could you look back on this moment and say that it was your origin story? Who knows? That's my prayer though, and that's our time. So the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. See you next time.